on a day that Brady retired. We didn't know it was going to happen, but damn it, it happened. It don't matter. And when you talking about the greatest, who better to talk to than two of the greatest ever? You know it's special when Molly and myself are dressed alike. I mean, Lord have mercy. What is this world coming to? First Takes in the house, y'all. Let's get it on.
The GOAT edition of First Take. Breaking news. Tom Brady retires for good, capping a historic 23-year career. Brady, who's 45, announced his decision on social media, saying he wouldn't change a thing about his career. I'll play that for you in moments. A year ago today, he announced his retirement before changing his mind 40 days later, returning to play the past season with the Buccaneers, a winner of 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, 1 with the Bucs. He ends his career as the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards and touchdown passes. The 3-time league MVP passed for nearly 4,700 yards this season, 3rd most in the NFL. Here's the GOAT, or as I like to call him, Teflon Tom.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. I think you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
The ultimate teammate, the ultimate competitor, and even Adam Schefter, good morning, in an emotional moment, still a moment of levity, poking fun at his retirement last year. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Adam, what more can you tell us?
Well, very classy send-off from Tom Brady there, who retires February 1st, 2023, the same day that he announced his retirement 1 year ago. The difference is this time, in that video, Tom Brady says it's quote-unquote for good, and I believe him, and I think others believe him, even though the idea will come up in the spring and the summer when some team needs a quarterback and Tom Brady wants to play football because he can still play. But his life is different right now. He's a single father. His children are on the East Coast. There could be opportunities on the West Coast, but it's tough to make all those things work when you're Tom Brady and you want to immerse yourself in the culture of a team. It doesn't work when you're doing that in Las Vegas or San Francisco or some of the places that he's been connected to in recent days. And he's tired right now, and he wants to recharge. And when you look back at his career, I think he knew that it was coming to this at this point in time. After the last loss, the Monday Night Playoff game to Tampa, we were riding back to the hotel, and we happened to be riding up in the elevator in the hotel with Tom Brady's parents. And as we were talking about Tom and what laid ahead, his father at that time said, well, if that's it, that was a hell of a run. And I think he knew at that point in time, he didn't want to lead on to anything, but I think they knew where this was all headed. And today it's reality. The greatest of all time announced his retirement again for good.
He gave us so much. Forever grateful. Adam, before he lets you roll real quick, I just have to ask you this as a New York kid. I have Mike in the Mad Dog and Stephen A. in studio. Any advice for me moving forward?
You're in the company of royalty, Molly. Stephen A., one of the greatest to ever do it on TV. 2 of the guys that are founding fathers of sports talk radio. I mean, listen, you're in a great spot today. You're with Hall of Famers to talk about a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'll hand it back to you.
Adam, thank you so much. You're the
Boy,
best. From
I hear
one
all this
legend to a
nonsense.
couple
It
others.
makes me sick.
They're
Boy,
gassing you
I
up,
know
Mike.
I'm getting it in the back today.
mean,
Oh, my God.
I feel
I'm gonna
like,
get assassinated
Mike,
the other
I
day. I
feel
know
like
that.
they're
You
just
know that?
they're
There's
building
too
you up
much-
to break you down right now.
This is too much sweetness for me.
I
mean,
say the
yeah.
same thing,
Oh,
kissing
please.
our rear end, especially you.
But listen, first of all, it is an honor and a privilege to have you both on this show. I sincerely mean it. All right, I'm so happy to have y'all both. I am honored. I grew up listening to y'all. But the other thing that's important to know for the audience to know, it's going to be a special day to hear Mike Francesa religiously say, "Doggy, I got to go with Stephen A. He's right about this."
I hope that doesn't happen often.
No, I won't allow it to. Well,
Let's
you and
go.
I are going to attack him today.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Great to
I
have
wish
you both.
Brady would have picked another day, though.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Geez.
Who needs
no.
Brady today? He can have any day he wants.
Listen, Mike, he wanted in on the fun, all right? He wanted to be a part of this. Let's start with you here, Stephen A.
Yes.
How will Tom Brady be remembered?
Well, I think that the obvious is that he'll be remembered as the greatest ever. But when you talk about him, you don't just talk about him as a football player. You talk about him as a leader. You talk about teammates who loved playing with him. You talk about contemporaries and competitors who revered him, and they didn't hesitate to show it. We understand all of that. And then I think the greatest thing to bring up, I think that for me personally, him departing from Bill Belichick, guys, from Bill Belichick, I think goes a long way, because I don't believe that Tom Brady would have ever been satisfied if he had ended his career in New England playing under Bill Belichick. There was something. It was similar to Kobe needing to separate from Shaq to some degree. Now, obviously it's player. In this case, it's coach-player. But I think Tom Brady desperately needed to do that, and it was easier for him to make this decision.
I think that's an excellent point, and he won a championship to boot. Two things, Mike, about this. One, I didn't see it earlier. That's a great Instagram thing he posted. Saw a little emotion. I know last year I screwed you up by coming back. So I like the fact that was a very good minute.
Well done.
Excellent. That's the first thing. Second thing, you know what I keep on thinking about Brady? What? He probably knew he was going to quit. It's 31-7 against Dallas. They're awful, and he's out there with 4 minutes to go, directing traffic, playing his rear end off. In the last 4 minutes of a blowout, he was annoyed. He dropped the pass. He's got a guy in this motion. You go over there. He played that game to the bitter end when he probably knew he was going to quit, and they were getting blown out.
Tom Brady made himself great. He wasn't great. He wasn't great in college. He lost his job, which is what fueled him his whole life. He's the most competitive person anybody's ever met, and he worked harder than anybody ever to be this good. He made himself this good. He didn't start out that way. He was drafted late. He had a terrible body. It took him time to do it. Now, I'm going to throw a little, oil on the ceremony.
Okay.
He's not the best regular season quarterback I've ever seen. Peyton Manning was. What? He's not the best.
Drew Bledsoe, who was the #1 overall pick once upon a time and had led that team to a Super Bowl once before, got knocked out with an injury in a game against the Jets early in the year, and Tom Brady ran out onto the field, and I think the conventional wisdom was, well, the Patriots are certainly done here. And, of course, you went all the way to winning a championship that year. Can you pinpoint one moment, D. Wood, in that season where it occurred to you, wait a minute, this guy's that good? Like, not only are we not done, we got a shot to do something special because this guy is actually really, really good. Do you remember the moment you first thought that?
I don't know if there was really one moment per se. There were so many moments, during the season. And listen, at that time, we weren't led by our offense. We were led by, our defense, Teddy, Willie McGinnis, all those guys. Those guys were the leaders on that team, and we were kind of, a team that played complementary football. And so Tom grew into his legend. He grew into the player that he was. But I always go back to my thing. When I knew Tom was the one, was, to me, Super Bowl 36, that last drive. If anyone remembers, I remember John watching the game afterwards, John Mann was like, no, the Patriots shouldn't, they basically just played to overtime. We made the decision that we're going to go for it right here, right now with the game tied. And Tom just methodically just bam, 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 drove us all the way down the field. Okay, and Adam Vinatieri ultimately kicked the game-winning field goal. And when that confetti was coming down, I looked at Tom like, yeah, he's the guy. He's the one. Like, he's the new anointed one that we're going to have in our league.
I like the smile on Teddy's face as you're hearing that story, Teddy. What are you thinking?
Man, all Brady did on that drive was hit J.R. Redmond on a couple check downs, Jermaine Wiggins on the short little pass, and then Troy Brown. What Woody's telling is right. It's exactly right what he's saying and how he developed into it. I think he was in the Carolina Super Bowl for me when we were playing Jake Delhomme in the Carolina Panthers, and it was defensive-led, and there were a lot of special teams that made a lot of plays, too, leading up through those first early championships, but we couldn't stop them. Defensively, we just ended up to a place where you just can't stop them anymore, and it's like, oh, well, what are you going to do now? And then Brady over and over again, making throws in that Super Bowl against the Carolina Panthers, where that's the moment where I said, whoa. we are onto something here, and this guy can be great. So it was the second Super Bowl for me that really, I mean, shoot, the first one was, man, that was almost like that was destiny winning that one in 2001. But then Brady started to turn into Brady, Carolina, Philadelphia, and then I think, boom, it was sort of solidified the 07 season when he threw 50 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Those teams transitioned from being defense-led teams to being the high-scoring offense and everything else. But people forget those 3 Super Bowls. They were all incredibly close games.
Yeah.
Vinatieri making game-winning field goals. Yeah. It's one play here or there, and Brady found a way to win them all. D. Wood, thank you. The Patriots actually have responded today. I'm told that